Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Insurance Pilot, where in about 5 minutes a week, we teach you to be an expert insurance consumer. And what I want to talk about today, because of the time of year it is I want to talk a little bit about holiday parties and what can happen if something goes wrong. Is your insurance policy going to be there to help you, or are you going to be stuck out on your own? Specifically, what I'm talking about is a lot of us, one of the best things, of course, about the holidays is being surrounded by family and friends and being able to get together and have some sort of gathering. I know that I'm rarely happier than when I've got a whole bunch of elbows around my kitchen counter and a bunch of friends to spend time with and eat and drink. However, let's just face facts. When you get a lot of people together and sometimes they may overindulge a little bit and do something maybe that's not the most judicious of decision making, sometimes things happen. So my question that was posed to me this week is, I'll give you a little more expanded version of it. If somebody is at our house at a holiday party and let's say they slip and fall or they get food poisoning, or worse yet, if maybe they have a little bit too much to drink and they cause an accident and injure somebody when they leave that party, what happens? What insurance might respond to that? Am I covered or am I stuck? And the answer, frankly, is if you have a typical homeowner's policy, you should be covered. One of the key provisions, one of the most important parts of your policy, and something that's rarely thought of, is your liability coverage. You're going to be looking at coverages E and F, which are your liability and medical payments coverage. But specifically, if something happens at your home, frankly, you're probably going to be held legally responsible for it. We've certainly had instances at our house where someone has maybe sat down and slipped off a chair. I remember something when I was a little bit younger where someone touched a hot oven when it was open and trying to push a baker's rack back into the oven and just wasn't thinking and were burned. And those kinds of things could give rise to some liability. What I'm here to tell you is your insurance company, your homeowner's insurance company, should respond to that without any question. The important things to do, of course, are to report it as quickly as possible to your agent or to your insurance company. And one thing that's come up specifically is this issue of liquor liability. If someone leaves a bar and they've had too much to drink and they cause an accident, there's law in Florida which can hold the facility responsible for the damages in that accident, and it's happened quite a bit. There's been an awful lot of facilities here, bars and restaurants, that have been sued over the years when their patrons have had too much to drink and caused an accident. What I'm going to tell you is your insurance policy very likely covers you for that as well. I want to distinguish a little bit. I don't want to drag us into the weeds, but a bar or a restaurant that sells alcohol is going to have what's known as liquor liability coverage. It's specific to that risk. But in your homeowner's policy, what is going to be built in is what's called host liquor liability. So in other words, if you give someone a drink at your home and they go out and they cause an accident and you get dragged into this, you should be covered. Host liquor liability is distinguished from liquor liability in that you're giving alcohol away. If you're selling it to your party guests, which of course is very unlikely, then you would not be covered. But someone who sells alcohol would have liquor liability coverage, but you would have host liquor liability coverage under your homeowner's policy and be protected. This doesn't mean you shouldn't use care. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't give your guests plenty of safe options to get home. It certainly doesn't take much effort to call an Uber and to help them get their vehicle the next day if they've maybe gone a little bit too far. So again, it doesn't just because you have insurance for something doesn't mean you should not care for your guests and not try to be careful. Just know that if someone makes a bad move, makes a mistake, and you get dragged into that process, your insurance company should be there to stand behind you. We're going to leave it there this week. If we don't talk to you beforehand, I hope everyone has a very, very Merry Christmas, great holiday. I hope you get to spend lots of time with family and friends, and we'll see you soon.